Good afternoon. It is so wonderful to be with so many of our college alumni and leaders in 3D. I also welcome those of you who have joined us virtually, both across campus and across the country. Serving as Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences is a great privilege. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making my first 2 years so rewarding, and for warmly welcoming my wife, Susie, and me into the Virginia Tech and Blacksburg communities. I have marveled at the grace, determination, and creativity with which our faculty, staff, and students have navigated these challenging, exhausting times. We are not past this crisis, and I know for many of you, dread at what might lie ahead for you and those you love can take a daily toll. But as our gorgeous campus has roared back to life, it is impossible not to feel the sheer joy of our students' exuberance. Our classes are once again humming with the exchange of ideas, and we're reconnecting with cherished colleagues and friends who have been distant rectangles on a screen for months. In an era marked with constant reminders of the fragility of our planet, the fragility of democracy, and the fragility of a shared understanding of basic truth, it is more important than ever that our commitment to the liberal arts and human sciences is strong. So I'm incredibly pleased to report that the state of the college is healthy, dynamic, and more promising than it's ever been. We, like our predecessors in the late 19th century, are confronting a world facing economic dislocations, population shifts, and yawning social and political divides. And again, like our predecessors, we are rising to the challenge of ensuring our work remains attuned to the most pressing issues of the day, while also preserving the enduring foundational skills at the core of the humanities, the social sciences, and the arts. The rich tapestry of our course catalog is capacious enough to include criminology and creative writing, data analytics and Dante, cybersecurity and child development, presidents and property management, fashion and the free market, and bok choy. As we navigate the fault lines that seem to punctuate virtually every aspect of our daily lives, it is more important than ever that we vigorously defend areas of inquiry that were born of profound and legitimate demands for inclusion and redress. It is imperative that we remain forever stalwart in our defense of colleagues who dare to question orthodoxy and to interrogate injustice. However fraught our politics, we cannot sacrifice academic freedom to people who use harassment and threats to silence those with whom they disagree. My aims for the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences are ambitious, and the college is a hive of activity. I aspire to make Virginia Tech a place as renowned for digital content creation, disability studies, and dance as it is for computer science, helmet design, and automobile safety. And I stand in awe of the brilliant, devoted colleagues who are making these goals a reality. Humanity is at the core of all we do in the college, so I asked several of our faculty members to tell us how their work contributes to that mission.
How should we decide what happens to privacy when almost every aspect of our lives can now be tracked through smartphones, sensors, and cameras? If data is the new oil that is creating unprecedented wealth, how do we decide who should own and benefit from your data? What ethical standards for warfare should we use as the militaries of the world develop weapons that are smart enough to target and kill on their own? These are just a few of the many challenges that are forcing us to realize that technology is not just a technical issue. Technology is also a human issue. In fact, the hardest problems we're facing in technology today are at the human frontier. Our Tech for Humanity initiative is committed to solving these challenges. The Center for Humanities and the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences is creating a new undergraduate Tech for Humanity minor that will enable any of our Virginia Tech students to learn and study at the intersection of humanities and technology. Our students will develop essential skills in areas such as AI ethics, democracy and technology, and social justice. Our Tech for Humanity lab is researching the impact of digital technologies on human security. Our college is even engaged with federal agencies to develop public interest technology so that AI can ensure that everyday Americans have access to information that is essential to democracy. Our College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences is committed to making sure that our technological world is guided by the expertise and knowledge to create human-centered outcomes and that advance public interest.
Our planet is facing urgent environmental and climate crises, and addressing these crises requires transdisciplinary collaboration, which is a primary goal of the Environmental and Climate Justice minor that the three of us are working to establish as part of the Academy of Transdisciplinary Studies. Teaching and research focused on environment and climate is a clear strength of our college. There are more than 30 faculty members from 12 different departments and programs whose teaching or research is focused on the equity and justice dimensions of environment and climate. But until now, there's not been a formal way to organize our offerings in this area for students or for us as researchers to connect and build community around this topic. Environmental sciences are already a strength in a number of colleges across Virginia Tech, but the critical component that our college brings to the table is an understanding of the social, political, and cultural barriers limiting action on environmental problems like climate change, and also an understanding of the structural roots of environmental inequalities and injustices. Essentially, why certain groups of people are disproportionately burdened by the environmental harms created by society, and what's required for that to change. This environmental and climate justice minor, which we will be proposing as a Pathways to General Education minor, will complement and work in partnership with the environment-related majors and minors in other colleges at Virginia Tech in order to better prepare our students to tackle the equity and justice challenges of environmental problems like climate change. This minor will also be part of the newly emerging campus-wide Climate Action Living Laboratory, the creation of which was one of the goals of Virginia Tech's new climate action commitment. So we are really excited and energized by the opportunities this minor will provide for our college to become better integrated into the important work happening at Virginia Tech focused on the environment.
The recently established Academy of Transdisciplinary Studies represents an ocean of opportunities for creative approaches to teaching, research, and service in the college and university. This ocean is actively populated by the almost 20 academic majors and minors that are currently incubating at the Academy. The ocean connects the ports of minors and majors focusing on diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice, and the port of minors and majors focusing on the intersections of science, technology, health, and the humanities. Now, that normally calm ocean can be challenging to navigate, particularly when we face structural barriers that slow down the type of collaboration across departments and colleges that we're proposing, and a difficult political climate that even questions the content of some of the degrees that we are creating. But do you know how we're going to navigate that ocean? We're building a bridge based on humanity. Not just tech for humanity, but humanity for tech. A bridge that connects those ports by focusing on the common interests on improving the human condition across and beyond the disciplines. I don't know about you, but for me, this is a very exciting moment in the life of the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences and Virginia Tech. I hope that you join us in creating and then crossing this bridge of transdisciplinary inquiry.
We recognize that we work at a university founded by displacing indigenous peoples from their land and by enslaving forcibly relocated people to build this place. Therefore, at the Center for Refugee, Migrant, and Displacement Studies at Virginia Tech, we're committed to understanding the complex historical and generational impacts of displacement on individuals and communities. Using displacement as our lens, we study forced relocations caused by civil unrest, natural disaster, eminent domain, government-induced development, and climate change. We study these displacements using interdisciplinary research methods and then transform our findings into meaningful action. Whether studying earthquakes and rising sea levels, the history of indigenous peoples forced to flee during colonization, eminent domain land takings for a public utility, or the ecological disturbances causing the displacement of plant species, such as the red spruce, we're interested in our commonalities and differences of displacement across communities. Our research is community-based, and we work closely with local refugee partnerships to develop workshops and tutoring services. We founded the Virginia Consortium for Refugee, Migrant, and Displacement Studies to work closely with community members, service providers, resettlement agencies, and other academic institutions to identify pressing research needs in Virginia. Our students are engaged in several experiential learning opportunities through internships, such as with our podcast, In Place, where they interview experts and produce informative episodes about displacement across Virginia. And we work with Elimisha Kakuma, the refugee-led nonprofit, which offers high school graduates in Kakuma Refugee Camp in Kenya peer tutoring as they apply for college. We also support the Virginia Tech student group Coalition for Refugee Resettlement, which offers tutoring for recently resettled community members. Finally, we offer support to students, faculty, and community members with displacement in their backgrounds by providing opportunities for their stories to be heard, documented, and shared, such as in the zine Roots and Resettlement, and through several oral history initiatives. We hope the Virginia Tech community will join us for our speaker series and other events as we do this work together.
The Kellogg Center for Philosophy, Politics, and Economics is a college-level research center that spans the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences and the College of Science. The center operates beyond boundaries and has humanity and the critical reflection on the human condition at the heart of its research, teaching, and outreach missions. With regard to research, the Kellogg Center is one of the first centers in the world that is dedicated to interdisciplinary research in philosophy, politics, and economics, or PPE for short. As an interdisciplinary field of study, PPE has a long history in the humanities. It analyzes complex human decision-making problems to develop solutions that are ethically, politically, and economically informed. PPE investigates the predicaments of human nature in order to identify social structures that advance human well-being and are beneficial to all, including the weakest members of society. As Adam Smith, one of the founding fathers of PPE, stresses, no society can surely be flourishing and happy, of which by far the greater part of the numbers are poor and miserable. With regard to teaching, the center oversees two interdisciplinary, research-driven undergraduate degree programs. The PPE curriculum is rich. It includes classic readings that address some of the invariable truth about human nature and cutting-edge research that complements and advances these findings. Informed by the past and cognizant of the present, our students work together with faculty and learn to transfer their knowledge to actual social problems. PPE students are 360-degree problem solvers. They're ready to initiate social change and become leaders in the 21st century. PPE and the humanities more generally are central to a well-rounded education. With regard to outreach, the Kellogg Center organizes a host of events and activities each year. The events foster dialogue among faculty, students, and the public, and bring high-profile speakers to campus. The Kellogg Center provides a forum for constructive civil debate to create a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse community that respects the views and integrity of each of its members. This undoubtedly is a central and timeless function of the humanities. David Hume, another prominent PPE thinker, makes it clear that what makes us distinctively human is not our capacity to reason, but our moral sensibility, our benevolence and sympathy with others. These qualities are at the heart of meaningful, respectful human interaction and the basis for a flourishing society. Furthermore, it is these very same qualities that are at the very heart of the mission of our college and the university.
Human ingenuity and imagination are foundations for resilient communities. When we believe in ourselves and in each other, we are better able to face our challenges with confidence and courage. I want to share a few reflections on my Juneteenth Scholars research. Last year, I was honored to be part of the first cohort of this innovative college program that connects discipline-based inquiry to broader questions of quality of life, social justice, and change. My research investigated grassroots organizing and youth-led social movements. I was primarily interested in how Black students at predominantly white institutions were navigating their social justice efforts. I collected data on motivation, organizing strategies, and political efficacy, or the degree to which we think we can influence political change through our participation in political processes. In what ways were student-led movements for change influenced or affected by movements in our wider communities? What were the successes and failures? To what extent were student demands met as a result of their organizing between 2014 and 2020? While much of the research done on political efficacy focuses on individual action and electoral politics, I felt it was important to take a look at collective efficacy on the margins of electoral politics, since so much of our history as Black people engages the community outside of formal institutions and structures. I was fortunate to work alongside Alyssa Marshall, a phenomenal student and research assistant who approached this project passionately and with so much resolve. Thank you so much to Dean Belmonte and our college team who made this research possible.
Over the last few years, I've worked with a group of faculty and students from visual arts, computer science, education, history, the libraries, all across campus. We have an online home, it's historylab.vt.edu, and we've just created a new team-taught pathways course also called History Lab. During the sesquicentennial, we're exploring the hidden histories of Virginia Tech, and we're using technologies like augmented reality and projection mapping. Doing this kind of work has really changed the way I think about historical scholarship. Now, partly that's just working in a team rather than alone. That difference in itself is just huge. It's stepping outside my disciplinary comfort zone. It's using different methods. It's seeing different perspectives. But it's also because technology changes the nature of the historical stories we tell. And it might seem a bit paradoxical, but I think creative technologies can actually make people, humanity, more central to our work. And we often think of technology, humanities scholarship as being in opposition. But in fact, when you put them together, they work really well. So, for example, our augmented reality tour at Solitude allows you to stand on the ground of a former slave plantation. That's what Solitude was. And using videos dropped into the real-world landscape in front of your eyes, you can see descendants of people who were enslaved here talking about their connection with this place and its history. So this brings real people who have often been excluded from historical narratives, back into the center of the story where they belong. It's really powerful stuff.
Food and food culture are among the most central aspects of our humanity. Not only does food literally feed and fuel our bodies, of course, making our very lives possible, but it also feeds our connections to one another and to the land. Food is embedded within and helps to define our cultures, our religions, our identities, and our very sense of self. As such, food studies as an interdisciplinary area of inquiry perfectly aligns with the insights of the humanities, seeing food through language, literature, philosophy, history, and art, among others. Over the past year, we have developed a food studies program and new undergraduate minor housed within the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences at Virginia Tech. Our program facilitates teaching, interdisciplinary research, and community engagement to promote understandings of food consumption and production within historical, social, and ethical contexts, and to turn those understandings towards solutions around food issues, both within and beyond the academy. This work brings together people from all across campus and the wider community who are usually operating independently and often having conversations that relate to one another and yet do not truly inform one another. As such, our new program is able to link these conversations together through the study of food and its critical role in shaping our lives.
It's no wonder then that students are flocking to our college. I'll let other members of our college community tell you that story and others.
Hi Hokies, I'm Monica Kimbrell, and I'm lucky to bring good news about one or perhaps the most exciting fall semesters in the recent history of higher education. After the challenges of pivoting instruction during the last year and a half, our students are eager to be back in the classroom. In fact, we have over 4,000 undergraduate students enrolled in 42 majors this fall. This includes over 1,600 underrepresented or underserved students, allowing our college to serve the highest percentage of those students at Virginia Tech. We also welcomed the most competitive class admitted in the college's history. The 1,000 new freshmen and transfer students represent 31 states or territories, 7 countries, and nearly 500 high schools. The future is looking especially bright with the top 5 most popular majors, including criminology, human development, national security and foreign affairs, political science, and sports media and analytics. Do you recall the mention of 42 majors? Yes, the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences is home to the greatest number of undergraduate majors at Virginia Tech. This includes the launch of 7 new majors, including advertising, European and Transatlantic Studies, and 5 majors for elementary and secondary education. The new programs are exciting additions to the many options offered to students and will address high demand areas of interest moving forward. We acknowledge the declines and other challenges many liberal arts programs are facing and are working diligently to not only enroll students, but to retain and graduate them too. In fact, our retention and graduation rates are higher than the national averages, and the average time to degree is shorter than 4 years. We believe this success reflects the value of liberal arts and human sciences at Virginia Tech and the intentional support we provide to position graduates for successful futures.
In the College of Liberal Arts and Human Sciences, we study humanity, the art, the ideas, the inventions, and the social systems that shape our world. We know that world has not benefited all people equally. Our students embrace the spirit of the university's motto, Ut prosim, that I may serve. For them to serve all of humanity, they have to know the stories of all of us. In our college, we teach those stories. We teach those stories through our curriculum. The problems of the human condition transcend disciplines, but so do the solutions to those problems. As such, our Academy of Transdisciplinary Studies is incubating academic programs in which the most important insights of the humanities and social sciences are brought to bear on solving complex problems of inequality and injustice. Our faculty teach those stories. The college supports their research on the intersections of technology and humanity, on the impact of social inequity in medicine, on how art and culture can help us imagine and build a better future. Faculty are at the forefront of using humanistic and social science knowledge in service to humanity. Our students teach those stories. As the college's student body continues to diversify, students are telling their stories of how they navigate the university and Blacksburg, how they build a sense of community, and how they wish to serve humanity. They are shaping our college for the better. We are, in turn, developing programs and resources to ensure they succeed at everything they set out to accomplish. In the college, we know the only way to ensure we serve all of humanity is to make sure we know all the stories. More than that, to use this knowledge in the spirit of Ut Prosim, to shape a more just and equitable future, to write a new story.
This summer, the Virginia Tech School of Education began work on a number of curricular initiatives, including the development of graduate certificate programs to help provisionally licensed teachers earn their teaching credentials in Virginia. We're also working to make our graduate programs more affordable and accessible with flexible course options and a 25% tuition discount for Virginia educators. Finally, we're thrilled to share that we've launched several new undergraduate degree and licensure programs this fall, including English education, history education, and agricultural education. Other undergraduate majors, including elementary, math, and science education, will begin in the fall of 2022. If you've had the chance to visit campus recently, you know we're in the midst of a comprehensive renovation of the school's offices and classrooms in War Memorial Hall. Our science education lab in Daring Hall is also undergoing a top-to-bottom renovation. With the support of the college, university, and generous donors, we're making critical investments in technology, research, outreach, and development. The size and impact of our faculty are also increasing. This fall, we welcome Dr. Marcus Johnson, Associate Director responsible for our Office of Educational Research and Outreach. Dr. Johnson will help us increase our already significant research profile of more than $20 million in externally funded projects. We also welcome Dr. Dana Robertson, Associate Professor of Literacy, and Dr. Natalie Ferrand, Assistant Professor of Agricultural Education. We are already benefiting from their many contributions to our community. As we begin this new academic year, we're feeling quite positive about the trajectory of the school. Still in all, the effects of the pandemic and the many injustices it revealed continue. While the challenges are many, we draw strength and conviction from our university motto, Ut Prosim, that I may serve, and from our many friends and partners, including all of you. Thank you for supporting the school's mission to be a global catalyst for individual and social transformation. Together, we are reimagining the future.
The Naval ROTC unit mission is to develop and commission basically trained officers, ready to lead sailors and Marines after graduation. This is an intensely personal business, and we learn to adapt through COVID protocols, staying engaged with our students, and successfully continuing our training mission. With 280 students, the Virginia Tech Naval ROTC unit is the second largest unit in the nation. Almost 200 students are on a 2-, 3-, or 4-year national scholarship, providing over $5.5 million in tuition and benefits for the university and students. I am proud to say that for the past 3 years, Virginia Tech Naval ROTC has commissioned the most students among senior military colleges and NROTC units across the nation. Last academic year, we commissioned 51 officers. We did exceptionally well producing officers for the Navy's most selective assignments, with 8 students accepted into the Navy Nuclear Propulsion Program, 3rd best in the nation, and 4 in the Special Warfare, best in the nation. This past May, we also commissioned our first female Marine officers in over a decade. The student leadership did an outstanding job last year finding new and innovative ways to serve in the community, volunteering with COVID companion outreach for veterans and the New River Valley Health District vaccination clinics. This summer, we were also able to resume summer cruises, sending 135 midshipmen across the country out to the fleet for training. This fall, we launched a more engaging, hands-on training program with our students to continue meeting our mission, including preparing 50 first-class midshipmen seniors for commissioning in May of 2022. There's never been a better time to be a Naval ROTC midshipman at Virginia Tech.
Our college studies the human condition, and nothing is more human than language. As chair of the Languages Department at Virginia Tech, I would like to highlight 2 undergraduate opportunities funded by the National Security Education Program, whose federal grants support the study of less commonly taught languages deemed critical to national security and economic competitiveness. Project Global Officer offers summer study scholarships to ROTC students of Russian or Arabic so that they may spend 8 weeks immersed in Arabic or Russian language and culture, significantly improving their linguistic and cultural proficiency. The same federal agency also funds our Russian language flagship program, which is open to civilians as well as to ROTC students. The goal of Flagship is to graduate students who will take their place among the next generation of global professionals, commanding a superior level of proficiency in Russian. These multi-million-dollar, multi-year grants prepare students in Arabic or Russian for the global careers of the future.
Sports media and analytics continues to be one of our most popular majors. In fact, so many high-achieving young men and women are applying to our program. In fact, nearly 400 young men and women from across the Commonwealth and the country applied to our SMA program this past year. What is it all about? Well, SMA is focused on journalism, writing, and production, and that really appeals to people who want to be broadcasters and writers, bloggers, podcast hosts, or work behind the scenes. We've got an incredible digital studio and lab at Virginia Tech, and the students love working in it. In fact, we call it our gym. I say, let's get some shots up. And to them, that doesn't mean making free throws or taking three-pointers. It means turning the lights on in our studio and really getting to work. And they have embraced that work ethic at Virginia Tech. It's been a huge success. This past year, Tech student Evan Hughes won the Jim Nance Award as the nation's top collegiate broadcaster. That is, in essence, the Heisman Trophy of broadcasting, and he brought it to Virginia Tech. We've developed 3304 Sports, the digital home for student sports journalism at Tech, and our students host shows, cover games all over the country, and gain valuable experience. 8 of our students called Summer League Baseball this past year, all the way from South Dakota to Minnesota to here in Virginia. In fact, Virginia Tech junior Kevin DiDomenico was the radio voice of the Salem Red Sox. An unprecedented relationship between Tech and the Red Sox allowed Kevin to actually call games as the voice of the team while here at Virginia Tech. We do a lot in the classroom, but the real learning is done in stadiums and arenas around the country, in the region as well, and it's working. Our kids are getting jobs. The professor of practice model works really well. The kids really dig it, as they say, right? They like it when they can watch their instructor on ESPN on a Saturday afternoon, calling the game like this one today at Pitt, and then talk about it Monday when we get back to the classroom. You're going to see a lot of these kids on televisions coming up in the next couple of years, and sooner than you think, thanks to the exponential growth of our SMA program at Tech.
With Bill Roth, longtime and legendary voice of the Hokies, as our final inspiration, I can only conclude with thanks to all of you for participating in our inaugural State of the College address. And I close with a raucous, Go Hokies!